Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 7 of the Dragon Radar podcast. We are your hosts, Heeroh and Ajoten. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Very well indeed. Yourself?
I'm also doing very well and looking forward to a discussion.
Discussion as always.
Yeah. So let's jump straight into it. Let's get ready with Roshi's rant.
This is Roshi's Rant.
Okay, so this is Roshi's Rant, the segment of the podcast where we deep dive into a particular topic regarding Dragon Ball. And today we are going to be jumping in and discussing everything that has been shown about the new film, Dragon Ball Super Hero. So there's been a few trailers, there's been a few teaser images shown, and yeah, we're just going to talk about it. So do you want to get started? What do you want to talk about first? There's a lot of stuff that's been shown that's interesting to talk about, so I guess pick something. Go wild.
I think the biggest thing for me, and the thing that I've been hoping on, is that basically it's confirmed now that it's going to focus on Gohan and Piccolo.
Yeah.
That's where the heavy focus is going to be.
Mm.
I mean, Akio, who's basically one of the super producers, he's the one who said it. He's basically said Goku and Vegeta are going to be off dealing with things away from the front lines of this. Obviously, the front lines being this film.
Yeah.
And Akira Toriyama's had a very high level involvement in this film. He was actually doing writing for this while Broly was in production. And I mean, you always want your main man involved in this.
Yeah.
So like, it makes the difference. And I think, to me, finally getting that focus on Gohan is big news. I think it's important, and I think Akira's involvement will definitely make the difference. I think they'll stay true to form with them. Yeah. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, me too. And also I'm also very happy that Gohan is the main guy. He kind of deserves it. It's been a while since he's been focused on, even in the Tournament of Power, he was team captain, but, he was a side piece again. He wasn't the main focus. He didn't really even do anything too interesting in the Tournament of Power. So, yeah, it's good that this movie's going to focus on him. And everyone who is the Gohan fanboy who, they want Gohan to shine. They've complained ever since the Cell saga ended, over 20 years ago. Well, probably close to 30 years ago now. And finally he's getting some shine.
Well, the strange thing is, I was reading some articles, obviously, before we had this discussion, and I was saying how some people were soured by the fact that he didn't follow in Goku's footsteps, and hearing from Akio that he's taking this route will appeal to a lot of people. And I mean, at the same time, it's soured. It's like, I mean, we've discussed this. Is like, I kind of like that he had his own path.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was discussed in our hot takes and everything like that not everybody just went down the fighter route, and he got to be his own person, that he's always been since the Saiyan arc, that he's not Goku. He's never been Goku. He's always been this pacifist who's always been forced into it. But so now I like the fact that we've got to have that Gohan, but there is a genuine purpose for him having to fight. So like during the Freezer, when he came back to fight, it was because, again, Goku and Vegeta weren't there. He had to step up, but he hadn't trained, so he got whooped. Yeah. So now it looks like that. I think seeing all the visuals and everything like that, and seeing him in the Piccolo gi and everything like that, I think he could be the one that's training Pan. I think now.
Interesting.
I think because he said in previous things that he thinks he needs to make sure that whilst he's being the family man and everything like that, he needs to make sure that he stays strong. And he needs to be ready for any threats. And I think that he's kind of embraced that a bit in this new film.
I'm gonna have to take a different approach, I guess. When I see, because in the trailer it does show Pan, you see her standing on like a field or something, and she's like powering up, and it's kind of teasing her she's going to turn Super Saiyan. Who knows? But as soon as I seen that, I was also thinking, well, who's there with her? There's got to be someone. And I honestly, I didn't think it would be Gohan. I thought there's two people in mind. Well, I guess three people now, thanks to newer teaser images. But I was thinking it's either going to be Videl, because Videl hasn't really had anything to do for a long, long time. She is a fighter. She knows how to fight, and she was taught how to use ki. And being another female in the film, it would make sense for her to train Pan, I guess, as she's her daughter and stuff. It would make sense. So I thought it could be Videl. And now, thanks to the new teaser images that just come out, which we'll discuss a bit more, it could also be Goten and Trunks, maybe as well, potentially. But Goten, because, you know, Goten's related as well. You know, getting your kind of uncle involved to help out train, because I guess Goten is Pan's uncle. Yeah, that is how family trees work. Yeah.
Well, I've just thought two thoughts there. Well, being that Gohan is the pacifist and Videl's not the hothead anymore, they may not want her fighting full stop. And Goten, being a wily teenager, may sneak in and on the sly be training her.
Yeah, especially since there was a time jump, as it's been shown now, because Goten and Trunks are teenagers now. They kind of need to explain that, I guess. They can't just act like nothing's happened. They're definitely going to go a bit in depth and explain what's going on there, what these two have been doing, or what they're doing now. Are they in school like Gohan was during the Buu saga? That type of thing, who knows? Maybe they're going to show something like that. But I think it could be Goten training Pan, just because Goten was originally the youngest Super Saiyan. And this would be a good thing to just show off. You know, Pan is probably at talking age now. I don't know how old exactly. Maybe about 3, 4-ish. I don't know. She still looks very, very young. But yeah, Goten can basically show off and just be like, I was the youngest Super Saiyan. I'm going to train you to be the new youngest Super Saiyan. And yeah, that's how I could see it going.
I've just kind of had a flashback of, if you watch the Videl training montage with Gohan, if you actually watch it, when she's starting to manage to fly for the first time, Videl, if you actually watch the images, I'm kind of thinking, I may be remembering wrong, but if you watch them, they're incredibly similar. So they may use it as a throwback. So it may actually be Videl.
Yeah.
Because they'll use it as a throwback to exactly how she did it, and it might be like a shot for shot. So after this, I might go look, and I might like reference it next time in the next podcast and just say that, yeah, it was in fact that. Because it kind of focuses on her, and then it focuses on like her feet, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they did. They focused on the grass spreading out, because I'm pretty sure that's what they did in the trailer. I think it's
panning up to show the key like surrounding her,
powering out. So I might double check that, but that would kind of be a nice throwback to Z. And then that would also hint to me towards it more being Videl than anybody else. But I think it literally could be any three of them. I think Goten to just be cheeky and do it because Uncle Gohan wouldn't. Videl because, and Gohan because he's now training and he's happy to train his daughter alongside. It could be any of them. I don't think there's anything out yet that makes it a solid yes or no to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be Piccolo. Who knows? Since Piccolo is
true, it could be. Yeah. Babysitter Piccolo. It could be.
Yeah, but
it could be like again a further throwback to when he trained Gohan.
Yeah, exactly.
And he could just be continuing the trend.
Yeah, maybe Piccolo kidnaps Pan and then trains her up on a mountain or something. Who knows? But there is a lot of stuff to discuss about what's been teased. I don't want to focus too long on one particular thing. So another thing which has had a lot of people talking is the inclusion of Broly in the film. He is shown for maybe 2 frames of the trailer, and he's also been shown in some images too separately. But yeah, Broly's back in this film, and it looks like he's training on Beerus's planet with Goku and Vegeta. So what do you think about that?
I think it's bait.
Oh.
I think he's not going to be in it. If they can't have Goku and Vegeta in it, I think they're going to have him in it about even if as much as Goku and Vegeta. I think if they're not going to have Goku and Vegeta on the front lines, they can't have Broly. Because at the minute, you could very, very, very easily argue that Broly could kick the shit out of Goku and Vegeta quite easily. And he would just annihilate anybody in the Red Ribbon Army, arguably. Obviously, we don't know the power levels that are going to come at the minute, but literally Broly was just unstoppable in the last film. And if you just bring him in, and he's not a bad guy, he's definitely not a bad guy.
Yeah.
He never was. He was just
rage problems.
yeah, he was just confused and unhinged. And I think they were friends at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He just wants to be left alone. Paragus is gone. He doesn't want to work with Frieza. It's bait. It's definitely bait.
I also kind of agree with this. I think Broly will be lucky to see more than 10 minutes of him in the film. I think there's going to be some, maybe even just one scene of Beerus's planet, and they're not even going to go in depth as to why Broly's there or anything. He's just going to be there chilling, training, and something's going to happen because I know Goku and Vegeta aren't the main focus, but they're definitely going to be in at least a few minutes longer than Broly. So I think something's going to happen. Maybe Goku and Vegeta leave, or they decide to stay. But either way, Broly is definitely going to be staying on the planet with Beerus. So I think that maybe Whis has found a new destroyer that maybe Whis is going to be training Broly. Because why else would he be there? Of course, Goku and Broly made some sort of friendship towards the end of the last movie. So he's definitely there to fight. But as friends and on Beerus's planet as well, it would just make sense that he's also there to train. So, they're not just going to be there and just be like, yeah, do what you want to do, but we're going to train. He's definitely there to train as well. So I think, there's going to be a scene where Whis is training Broly. I could see that happening.
That would be interesting to see, because I think basically if you don't see much Goku and Vegeta, you're not going to see much Beerus and Whis, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be much either.
Unless you see it in the comedic sense, such as them coming to get food off Bulma and stuff, which I always like a bit of that. That's fine by me. You always get a bit of a good banter from Beerus and Whis, so I'm happy to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw more Beerus and Whis than you do, or the same as Goku and Vegeta. But the Broly thing, 100% bait.
Yeah,
I think it's just to get people's attention and everything like that. With the Red Ribbon side of things, he can't be that involved. He's too powerful, especially when they've said that it's going to focus on Gohan and Piccolo, because Broly could annihilate both of them like that.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I think they're going to tell you why Goku and Vegeta aren't around. It's going to go over to Beerus's planet, show you what they're doing, and that's going to kind of be it. Maybe Goku and Vegeta return right at the end of the movie to be like, wait, what's been going on? What have we missed? And then that'll be it. But yeah, I also think Broly is bait. Very much so. Other things that we see in the trailer are, of course, the two new potentially bad guys, maybe good guys. Still haven't completely figured that out yet. It seems like they're probably bad guys though, which are Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, which are like
they're the Red Ribbon androids. So they're the bad guys.
Yeah, because it makes it too obvious that they're the new bad guys, but also it's like, on all the promotional pictures and stuff, you see everyone together, and you see that little fat guy who I don't know if he's been named or not yet. If he has, I can't remember his name, but he's obviously dealing with the Red Ribbon Army stuff, and he's also in like a superhero outfit, and they're kind of chilling. So I think this guy who's from the Red Ribbon Army, he is going to be acting like a good guy, especially for maybe the first part of the movie before revealing his true evil intentions or whatever. But he's going to be going around as a superhero or whatever to get the attention of Gohan and whoever else. And Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are going to be like, the bad guys. But they're going to be acting like good guys for some of the film, but they're going to be the ones who are dealing the damage for a while.
They're going to be acting like Sandman, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
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 Because, I mean, it's basically, I was just looking at the synopsis, and it's basically they've made 2 more androids. So it's basically like, it's those 2.
Yeah, and
they're probably going to fuse. And based on that promotion material and stuff that's been on Twitter, it looks like they're going to probably fuse into another cell.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it's basically Silver Surfer Cell. He's back, and I think this is also bait. Okay.
You reckon?
Yeah, I really, really do. Because they've shown this image. Yeah, they've already teased Broly. They've teased everything else. They're now teasing Trunks and Goten being older. And it's like, how much can they really do in one film? Yeah, I get it. Okay, Cell could be the main bad guy, but I also think this is just bait, and he's not going to be around long for all. Maybe it's going to be a last-minute transformation from these Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 guys, fusion into Cell, and then there's going to be bits with Gohan, which will be a lot of throwbacks. Maybe another one-arm Kamehameha, who knows? Maybe it's Pan doing the Kamehameha, who knows?
Well, I had a thought about that. But on just a very quick side note in relation to bringing them back, I would like to point out that every main arc villain from Z is now back or in Super. Yeah. Every single one, bar Cell.
Yeah.
Vegeta, Frieza, Boo.
Yeah.
It's only Cell who's not. Androids, sorry, both of them as well. Only one who stayed down is Nappa and 16. And Raditz, obviously, but Raditz is...
Don't jinx it. Maybe 16's coming back now.
The thing is, they're obviously not afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, there is some very good potential. Like, there could be a beam battle between Cell, and they could, again, this time Gohan could be losing, and you could have Pan come in to help him win. You could have Goten and Trunks come in. You could have the inevitable Gotenks, which we'll talk about. Like there's so much potential there that I don't think it's anywhere out of the realm of possibility for it to happen. There are 2 androids, and the history shows that multiple androids tends to lead to problems. And fusion's a thing. We know it is for the androids, even for canon and non-canon films. They like the fusion of androids.
This is why I think it's bait, because I think these 2 androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, are going to be really powerful on their own, and they are going to put up a huge, huge fight. And if it is a fusion to make this Cell, or if this Cell is a completely separate character, I don't think it's going to be around for long at all. I think, maybe like what I said, Pan could get the final kill, just because she is training, and I think there's a very strong possibility she's going to go Super Saiyan. So I think she could get the kill here and prove that she's like the next in line. Like Gohan was that rumored next in line. Goten is completely ignored at all points, but he was the first, the youngest Super Saiyan. So maybe Pan is the one, she was flying as a newborn, pretty much. So why not? Make her extremely powerful, and she gets the kill, and then Gohan's like, that's my daughter. Wow. Yeah.
I'd be interested to see her, see what a voice actor and everything's like.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine they'll be using the same ones from GT and stuff. I imagine they'll sharp change.
Yeah.
Because this will be the first time we'll hear her talking. Because I know the American release is in the summer, but I'm assuming that's the American release of the Japanese voice. Is it?
I have no idea. I'm not actually sure about that one.
Yeah. Because I know it's Japanese release on April 22nd, and then it's coming to America, but I can't imagine the American dub would be that quick.
No, I don't think so. It'll probably be later in the year.
Yeah, I think it's just available in America that quickly.
Yeah.
But everyone will VPN it in.
Yeah, definitely.
You watch it April 22nd.
Yeah. Other things we need to mention. We kind of mentioned it already, but Trunks and Goten being back and being teens. And in that teaser image, you see the fusion dance, but the fingers aren't locked up properly. And there's also been a promotional image of like little keychain figures where it shows like fat Gotenks. So yeah, Gotenks is confirmed, and he's coming, and he's going to be fat. Maybe we'll see normal Gotenks as a teen as well. Who knows? But we're definitely getting fat Gotenks at least. And
So
yeah,
my thought on that is that it's been a time of peace, and that's why they're doing the time jump, because nothing's happened.
yeah,
And I think they'll just do basically, they've said, and since Broly, there's been a time of peace, and there'll just be their voice narration, and it'll just basically, they'll explain it with exposition in about 5 seconds, and that'll be it. And then they'll go to that, and because there's been a time of peace, Goten and Trunks have never had to do the fusion, and because they've not done it in 5 years or so,
probably,
they fail. They do it and they fail, and they get fat Gotenks. And I think that's literally what its suggestion straight away is they're rusty.
Yeah, I think that too. And other characters who have been revealed is Krillin's back, Policeman Krillin, and Android 18 is also there with a new look. She's got a new hairstyle, new outfit. It's looking good. So both of them are also going to be in the film. Don't know what type of role they're going to have, but they're on the main poster now, I guess. So they're going to have some sort of role. So that'll be interesting to see. I guess I forgot her name. Marin will also be older because there's a time skip, so Marin will be a bit older as well. So we'll get to see her probably.
I can't see her doing fighting though.
No, I don't think she'll be doing anything, but she'll probably be in the film at least, looking a bit older. Because she's just a few years younger than Trunks and Goten, but just older than Pan, so it'll be kind of in the middle of them.
Well, she was talking and everything when during by the end of Super.
Yeah, she's only maybe like a year or two younger than Trunks and Goten, so she'll be close to teenage age. So that'll be interesting to see as well. But yeah, I really have no idea what Krillin and 18 could be doing in this film at all.
I think they're just going to be settled down. I'm not expecting a lot from them. I don't think they're going to get that involved.
But then I'm thinking, why would they be on the poster? Because like they're not showing like Tien and Yamcha and everyone else.
Bulma's in the poster though.
Yeah, well, Bulma I can see having a big part because she is this famous scientist. She knew all of the other famous scientists, and Dr. Gero was the main guy in the Red Ribbon Army, and she probably has some sort of relation or knows about these two guys coming in from the Red Ribbon Army, so I can see her being involved, at least to give some information about them or to help with the plans to take them down or whatever, if they're trying to build something or something like that.
18 is 18 as a result of the Red Ribbon Army, though.
This is true. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, she's what, Azure or something like that beforehand? I can't remember what her original name is. Yeah, Zuli, something like that. Like she had a real name. She wasn't always 18, so she used to wear a jacket that said
this is true.
And literally Krillin is just a staple of the series, so I suppose you could literally just say that Krillin's there because he's the staple, and 18's there because she exists within the Red Ribbon. Like, I mean, she never wanted to be, really. You can't imagine. I don't think they really explain. She just got kidnapped, didn't she? I mean,
who?
She never.
18?
Yeah, they just got kidnapped, didn't they? To be androids.
I'm not sure.
So long ago.
Sure how 17 and 18 became androids. Yeah, I think
they got kidnapped. I can't remember. I'd have to go check that. But yeah, it could just be that basically anybody referenced back to the Red Ribbon who's in it, who's obviously not Goku because they're not going to be that involved, but he is in the promotional material because he's Goku. Could just be in there.
Yeah,
which would make sense. Yeah. But just to quickly go back to the Cell thing, the voice actor for Piccolo revealed that you recently got a Cell action figure. Except the Cell action figure, the display branding on the box
Right.
was Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball Z.
Interesting. Okay, so
Totally forgot about that. Just remembered that in my last little second.
The only thing I'm thinking though,
He's in it, isn't he? He's got.
yeah, like I'm thinking this version of Cell is not going to be the same Cell who has the same memories and knows who everyone is. It's going to be a reboot or just a different version who doesn't know Gohan killed him, I guess. Like I can't see it being the same Cell. There's no way. He got completely destroyed, and he is an android. And from that teaser picture, he looks more metallic. So he's definitely more of a robot side of things now, rather than I don't know, more like a bug insect. So yeah, I can see him, you know, being a different version of Cell, not the same Cell. But probably with all the same mannerisms and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like, he's just going to be a sinister bad guy and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, you're Cell. And he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to kill you now. He's not going to engage on the level. Like, he's just going to be a subservient to the Red Ribbon Army version, I think.
Definitely. I can see that too. Like the Bio Broly to the Broly films. He's not going to be good. No, he's not going to be around for long. And that's going to be it.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. So before we wrap up this section, I think we've kind of talked about all the characters coming in. Let's both do one wild prediction for the movie. What do you think is going to happen that hasn't been teased or anything that you could see happening? And yeah, something that could be interesting to see. If you want time to think, I can go first. I have one in mind.
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
All right. So my wild prediction for this is that obviously it's shown that there's a time jump, and because of this, we know that this movie is set after the end of Dragon Ball Z. So. Well, and we know this because at the end of Dragon Ball Z, during the tournament arc, Goten and Trunks are still kids. So, I think at the very, very, very end of this film, we're going to be introduced to Oob. And he's going to make an appearance, and it's going to be like, oh, it's Oob! He's here! And then that's going to tease...
I knew you were going to say that.
That's going to tease the next film. Yeah. So, yeah, I think they're going to tease the next film, or if they're planning on bringing the show back or whatever... They're going to tease that, oh yeah, Oob's actually around now. So that's a thing. So yeah, that's my wild prediction.
I think I'm going to sit with that. I think the closest thing I can think that I'm relatively confident might actually happen, that might genuinely happen, is the beam battle between Pan, Gohan, and Gotenks against this new Cell. I think that could genuinely happen, even though there's no indication that it actually might. I think that could be the end of the film and the deciding moment.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening, definitely, because I also think there's going to be a callback, especially with Cell being shown. Yeah, I think that's probably a strong possibility. If anything, my Oob one might be a bit out there too much, but the Cell beam flash, I can definitely.
No, actually, no, because as soon as you started saying it, and as soon as you started talking about the sky and the time jumps, and because he did say it in Dragon Ball Z, it makes sense. He said, "I will see you in the future." It's not. It is technically canon, arguably.
Yeah, it is.
In a way, yeah. He said, "I'll see you in the future." So there's no reason why it couldn't.
Yeah. Maybe he's on Beerus' planet.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah. Who knows?
Everyone's just on Beerus' planet. It's got more people on it than Earth by this point.
It's true.
Who's the new destroyer?
Yeah, maybe it could be. But we've been talking about this for long enough anyway. So I think it's time now to move on to the Hall of Fame.
And now it is time for the Hall of Fame.
And now we are on the Hall of Fame, where each week myself and Heeroh compete to see who can get ourselves placed into the Hall of Fame. Last week, we had, it's not looking good by the look of it. Last week, we competed to see which character we thought deserved better. Myself picked Piccolo, and yourself, Heeroh, picked Yamcha. And I get the feeling you've looked at the results and you're not very happy. Do you want to tell us what they were?
I want to tell you that everyone is wrong and that this is all a sham and people don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, so the winner with 91% of the vote is Piccolo. So congratulations, Piccolo. You deserve better. You deserve better than Yamcha, who gets nothing handed to him. I don't understand. Everyone's just saying like, oh, Yamcha doesn't do anything, it's just a joke. And it's like, yeah, this is why he deserves better. Yes, Piccolo also can deserve more, but Yamcha deserves more than Piccolo deserves. So it's like, how 91%? That's ridiculous.
I will give you one thing. Yamcha deserves more than 9% of the vote.
Exactly. He's even getting disrespected in the amount of votes. Like, come on. He's getting 9% of the vote.
That's amazing. Oh, that's made my day.
That is the biggest washout so far. By a long shot. I think the second closest was like 60-something%, which is still quite high. But yeah, 91% to Piccolo.
That's more disrespectful to him than that same man that bad man there. Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
Unbelievable.
Things
you hate to see.
Let's see if we could put a stronger argument for this week, eh?
Yeah.
Got a more bit on the darker side this week we're gonna go, and it is the best death in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, so since you won, you gotta go first. So what do you think is the best death in Dragon Ball?
So my choice is the death of future Gohan.
Okay.
The two androids.
I
think there's a lot to it. So it's not just his actual death, it's everything about it that I love. So the fight itself is fantastic. The choreography for Z is a step up. It's some of the best, in my opinion. The fight itself is some of the best in actual Z.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. I absolutely love it. It's 3 minutes of just fantasticness. Gohan's seriously holding his own. It's a 3-minute fight, and he's seriously holding his own. They obviously don't rate him as a fighter, and when he is fighting them, he's handing it to them basically.
Yeah.
And there's nice little throwbacks. There's a beam battle, and it's the mini throwback to the Cell. The one-arm beam battle, which he wins. Yeah. And then it takes the turn, and then they work out that he's how strong he is, and they decide to work together. They stop, they just look at each other, they nod, and in 30 seconds, Gohan's dead. So in that 3-minute fight, from the 30 seconds they decide to work together, he's dead. They attack him, and it's a very nice movement. You actually see the animation. They step in front of each other. Gohan gasps, and it's as if he knows it's over in that gasp, because he's attacked. 10 seconds is him on the defensive. 15 seconds after that is him basically trying to tactically retreat. And the 5 seconds after that, it's him getting killed.
Yeah.
That's it. So a second they work together, it shows how devastating the androids are once they work together, and it shows why 17 and 18 are as dangerous as they are.
Yeah.
The death itself is actually quite brutal. Like when he's down on the floor and they're blasting him, and it's like you hear him like screaming as he's basically getting blown up. And typically you don't really see that when someone gets like hit with a key blast and killed. It's just
they're disappeared now. They're a magician.
Like you proper like hear his death screams. It's quite brutal.
Yeah.
And then of course there's what comes afterwards when Trunks wakes up, and he comes to find him, and you see the actual death. And this is what I think is the best part about it. and it's Trunks finding him face down in the puddle. And I think for Dragon Ball, that's quite dark.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
Yeah, I mean, his face, like his eyes are just white. It's very impactful. It hits you quite hard. It's like, oh, okay, like they've literally just straight up murdered him, just left him. He's just nothing, and you feel Trunks' pain, and of course, it leads to, in my opinion, one of the best Dragon Ball transformations, which is Trunks' change into Super Saiyan.
Mm-hmm.
So it has meaning as well. So there's brilliant choreography, there's impactful death, there's fantastic animations, there's cause behind it, there's an extra brilliant outcome, there's nice callbacks. I just think all around it's just fantastic, and I just think it's very well done in general. I'm a big fan of it, even though it's my boy Gohan going out. I have to say it's just good, very good.
Yeah, honestly, I can't fault anything you said there. It is a good death. I really like it as well. It's been a while since I've actually seen the scene, but especially the stuff with Trunks transformation, Trunks transforming after it. Obviously, that's a big impact and a really well-known moment of the show. So yeah, I can see that being a good death. But but this week I decided, you know what? People don't know what they're talking about. So, best death in Dragon Ball, Krillin dies, lol. Yeah. Krillin getting blown up on Namek. It's won the poll. Okay? It's a guarantee. It's written. It's already known, yeah? It doesn't matter. I don't need to say anything, yeah? I was so confident in Yamcha last week that Yamcha deserves more than anyone else. But I know how people are now. I can read people's minds. And they're going to think, how did Gohan die again? Don't really remember. How did Krillin die? Oh, that was funny. He got blown up in the sky. So, Krillin's death, best death in Dragon Ball. And, you know, it's not just a joke. I will talk about it as well, because there is some good points to it. It is arguably the most well-known death in Dragon Ball. The most famous death in Dragon Ball. It's a huge moment in itself. As far as Dragon Ball Z goes, one of the first main character deaths, not the first, you know, we've had Goku dying and coming back and blah blah blah, but it is one of the first still by this point. You see Frieza, he's kind of just toying around a bit at this point, and he's trying to show off his strength. And he just fires one single ki blast into Krillin's chest, and then he manipulates that ki to send him flying into the air, and then he just like boop and explosion. And the scream from Krillin, you see his chest like expand and then explode. It's a great death. It is a great death. I can't remember any other character in the show dying from being exploded from the inside out. You know? You see ki blast deaths, you see beam deaths, but being like exploding like that, I mean, the only one comparable is Yamcha's self-destruct. But I mean, this is kind of different, you know. He's exploding from the inside.
I suppose you could say Cell technically.
Kind of. That's also a self-destruct in a way, and he takes a planet with him as well, I guess. But
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Krillin's isn't. He doesn't want to do it himself. You know, someone's forcing him to do it. But yeah, and because of this moment of Krillin dying, it leads to the biggest moment in Dragon Ball Z, which is the first ever Super Saiyan transformation from Goku. That is the catalyst, that is the moment that makes Goku snap and transform, and it is the biggest moment in the show's history. That first transformation into Super Saiyan, that leads into everything else that we've ever seen from that point forward, and it was built up from the very beginning of Dragon Ball Z with the tease of the Super Saiyan. So, and that's all down to Krillin dying. So, yeah, that is the best death in the show. It is a meme. It isn't the most fantastic death of all time. It's not built up. It's pretty sudden, if anything. Frieza just goes beam blast up in the air, bang, explosion, dead, and it's pretty sudden, but it is the best death, and I am so confident that this one's gonna win. I am so confident that this one's gonna win.
Do you know what I would love every person that voted to watch this first and just say that, just to hear you say that, and then vote against you. I would just love it.
Yeah, but that's not how it goes. People are going to read what is the best death.
Of course they can't watch it first. God damn
it. They're going to see Krillin. They're going to see Gohan, and they're going to think, I can't even remember Gohan died in the future, and that's going to be enough for them. So, yeah.
Well, my boy Gohan, people love Gohan.
Yeah. But I think if you think of deaths,
yeah,
you can picture that Krillin one straight away. You know exactly how it happens. You can see it. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you know it. You know everything that happens for that death. For the Gohan one, you can argue it's not as well known. It's hard to remember exactly what happens. You can remember the transformation of Trunks in the rain, but the actual Gohan death itself and how that happens, I think it's a bit harder to remember.
Yeah. I think future Gohan is admittedly harder to remember than just basic Krillin.
Yeah.
The Goku scream before he explodes, like, that is quite pivotal. I think that is a big part of. I mean, it's like you say, like, you're saying it's one of the biggest. The Super Saiyan transformation is one of the biggest parts of Dragon Ball. It's one of the biggest moments in anime.
Yeah,
I would argue.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it's huge. It's like it's a pop culture huge thing.
Yeah. Everyone who knows anything about anime knows about the Super Saiyan transformation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
even if you don't know anime, there's so many people that know it. It's like, yeah. And
that's all due to Krillin. Krillin saved anime.
But no, it is a good death, I suppose.
Yeah.
Finally, Krillin finally serves a true purpose.
He does. But did you have any backups in place just in case?
I did. I had. It was an obvious one, and it is, of course, the final atonement of Vegeta.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was my third choice, actually, but yeah.
Your third choice.
Yeah.
I just thought it's a good death. It works well. He gets his moment with Trunks and everything like that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's pointless. It doesn't do anything. Like, he dies, and it's like literally the only thing is he kind of redeems himself a little bit. He gets a bit of a moment with Trunks, but that's kind of it. Like, Boo doesn't die. So it's like, I can't really justify it. I think there's a lot more behind the Gohan death when you think about it. And I think the choreography, like I said with the Gohan thing, it puts the Vegeta thing to shame. Because you have the emotional impact as well as things on top of it. And
we've discussed in an earlier episode, but that episode is the highest rated Dragon Ball Z episode on IMDb.
Yeah. Because Majin Vegeta is arguably best Vegeta. It's like it's him at his peak.
Yeah.
No, I do enjoy it, but yes, ultimately, whilst I do enjoy the final atonement, I don't think it's the best death. I just think it's very good. And what was your second?
My second choice is definitely not going to be on many people's lists, but I personally really liked it, and that was Chi-Chi's death in Dragon Ball Super, which I'm guessing you wouldn't even have thought about at all beforehand.
No.
But yeah, it's just, a chilling moment. It's very sudden and pretty freaky, to be honest, because, they're on Goku's farm. Goku's chilling, just in his farmer clothes, having a nice family time with Chi-Chi and Goten, and all of a sudden, his body's just switched with Zamasu, and Goten's like, "Mom, what's going on?" And then you see Zamasu appear as well behind Chi-Chi, and then Goku Black's just like, whoop, off with her head, and Chi-Chi gets decapitated, and it's like, wow. All right. And obviously you don't see the decapitation, but you see the slice, and it's like, okay, yeah, that just happened. Chi-Chi's dead. And that's shown, and it's like, wow. And then obviously they go on to kill Goten as well. And it's like, okay, Chi-Chi from the alternate timeline is dead, as is Goten. And yeah, Goku's freaking out and he goes into rage mode once he finds out about it. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I had a similar one as my third.
Yeah.
My third was Black killing Bulma
Yeah.
in Trunks' timeline, where he blasts her away and she just fades away into basically a skeleton and then nothing.
Yeah.
Because the visual's fantastic.
Because she's like kind of saving time for Trunks to escape.
Yeah, and I just think the visual's amazing. It's like one of the best death visuals in Dragon Ball, because it just has an impact. But there's just not enough to it. But you can see obviously it nearly makes Trunks miss his opportunity because he's so angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good deaths in Dragon Ball. But for this particular poll, we have Future Gohan dying, and we have Krillin going boom. So them are the two options. So if you want to vote, go check out the social media posts. You know, you can see the links to the Twitter and the Instagram accounts down below, and go vote. And we will see next episode who enters the illustrious, the sometimes wrong Hall of Fame. But right now, we'll move on to the hot take.
Hot take.
So this is the hot take, the final segment of the podcast where we deep dive and discuss a particular topic that I have found on the internet that some random internet troll has left online. And we'll discuss and just talk about if we like the take, if we disagree with the take. And yeah, that's what this segment's all about. So, found it online. It's a bit of a shorter one, but we'll discuss it anyway and take some points from it. So, this guy has written, he said, Goten gets the short end of the stick, not just by Toei or Toriyama, but the Dragon Ball Z fandom too. It's always Gohan, Gohan, Gohan. Pretty much everyone forgets about Goku's other son, and you can't even find a lot of Goten videos online talking about him. He is the forgotten son of the family. And that's it. That's the take. What do you think about that? Is Goten the forgotten son?
No, I just think he's young. Literally, like, the new film's kind of demonstrating that. Like, basically, Goten gets Gotenks. Like, they get to step into one of the brand new abilities that's introduced to the show in Z. Like, they're the ones that get it first.
Just to counter that point straight away, though, can you argue that is both Goten and Trunks kind of just being pushed together? Goten doesn't get a chance on his own.
I think you would have to do it. Like, it is fusion. It's what it is.
Yeah, for that particular character of Gotenks, but Goten as a character, he doesn't get anything on his own at all, really.
I mean, you also have to think, by this point, you had Gohan as around this time in the show, he's an adult. It's very, very easy to make a teenager and then a adult character development before give them character development, then it is essentially a toddler. Now, I know Gohan was a kid when it started with him, but it's very difficult to basically do the exact same thing twice.
That's true.
If you make him a prodigy twice, you're recycling the exact same content.
Yeah, because
you have to be very careful with what you do. Now, there's no direct indication now. They said it back when that they were going to finish Z at Z, but now they haven't given any indication it's truly going to end. The mangas keep going.
Yeah.
Now, Goten's starting to grow up. You've got superheroes coming. Goten's now entering his teenage years. There's nothing to say that now things aren't going to look towards him. And now that he's at an age where he's developed and now that you can focus on him, he can make his thoughts and his feelings more known. Then it's easy to express and to focus on him a lot more. But I think just copying the prodigy recipe is boring. It's dull.
Yeah,
and I think it's difficult to do.
Yeah, one thing I'm unsure about the manga which I don't read, so I could be completely wrong about this. But even up to the current point in the manga, Trunks and Goten haven't aged forward yet. So does that mean Superhero, the film, is just like way, way in the... Is it even canon? Do we even know? Like the Broly one isn't fully canon yet because we haven't had any more of the show. But this should have been a topic we should have mentioned earlier in the podcast. But yeah, as far as Goten goes, he hasn't had a shine and standout moment, and I can agree with this guy completely. I guess I do think he is the Forgotten Son. You mentioned yourself that Gohan had his moments when he was a kid, and you don't want to recycle that, which I agree. You don't want to recycle. But even during like the Frieza saga, I would say Frieza saga Gohan is about the same age as Goten was for all of for all of Super, I guess. Probably around about the same age. And in that time, during Super, especially, Goten / Gotenks doesn't really do anything in all of Super. I don't think he has a single moment at all. So
but then again, neither does Kid Trunks.
Yeah, exactly. Like both of them don't. Both of them have been kind of just grouped together.
It could simply be argued that it's because they're children and they haven't fit into the arcs. Like you can't put them in the Tournament of Power. You can't really put them in the Goku Black saga because they're going to the future. Yeah, and only so many people could go. Like they haven't been forcing them into the arcs. They technically were involved in the Beerus Battle of the Gods because they turned into Gotenks and got absolutely handed to each other. Yeah. So there was no place for them within the arcs purely because of the nature of the arcs.
Yeah.
But bearing in mind that like there was no place for Gohan within the Goku Black arc.
Like, can you argue though that I know it seems like they're just pushing Goten and Trunks together and they're basically just one character at this point. You don't see one without the other. They're a team. They're together and it's just expected if one's there, the other one's there as well. But I mean, I class older future Trunks as a separate character as well. So you can't even really argue that Trunks gets his own stuff. Since they are kind of separate, one's from the future, different universe timeline / whatever. But Kid Trunks,
future Trunks and Kid Trunks might well be two different people.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
you can't say like, oh, Trunks never gets his shining moment if you're talking about Kid Trunks. It's not the same thing.
But Kid Trunks still gets more screen time and recognition compared to Goten. Especially during Vegeta's final atonement, and that a lot of that entire arc is about Bulma and Trunks and Vegeta trying to protect them, kind of, I guess. And there's that moment where he stops Trunks from going into battle by, karate chopping his neck and paralyzing him. But yeah, Goten as a character, he doesn't have any moment like that. There's no moment with him and Goku that stands out to me. There's no moment with him and Gohan apart from the training bit, I guess, where he shows off that he goes Super Saiyan. But even then,
well, no, you have the introduction to Goku for the first time at the tournament. You have the training with. You have him throwing the rocks at Gohan, so the mini training. You have him joining Videl with Gohan training. So he gets his own. He does get his moments in Z, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that
I would say he gets as many small moments within Z as Trunks.
Yeah, I'd say that Super Saiyan transformation training bit with Gohan. Yeah, that's his one main one. I wouldn't even really class him meeting Goku for the first time as a big moment because it's not arguably. I don't think. But yeah. I can see that is definitely the Forgotten Son. Even in Super, they brought the focus back around to Gohan. Like, they could have focused on Goku again, like they were doing, but they brought it back around to Gohan in a way by showing how he's grown as a family man, and how, you know, he's kind of ditched the Saiyaman stuff now, he's settling down, and then they bring him back to train again, show him off with the gi and training, and then doing all the tournament of power stuff as well. It shows a lot of progression. And then of course the fights in like the Resurrection F film against Frieza, him in the green tracksuit and all that stuff as well. Like, there has been focus on Gohan again, even though he has grown up and changed. Goten, not so much. And yeah, that is just because he's a kid. And I can agree it is harder to fit the kids into the story, especially with everyone else aging. But then, is that the fault of Toriyama making too many kid characters? Like, he's just making more and more with like Bulla and Pan and, you know, everyone else. There's way too many kids. So if he's going to make that many kid characters, he needs to do something with them. Like, otherwise, what's the point?
I think the problem is that, yes, I do agree that, yes, Goten has been pushed ahead, but I think that's one of the main reasons, because there's so many kids and the fact that they're kids, and you can't recycle the child prodigy, because if you do that, it's not a child prodigy, it's just you just have very powerful children all the time, and it takes away from it. It means that what Gohan did to Cell isn't that impressive. It's just what kid Saiyans do. So it's redundant. In terms of, it also doesn't help that the entire fandom loves Gohan and demand more Gohan
it's true.
Continuously.
Yeah.
Like, it is true that whilst a lot of people do like the fact that Gohan got his own pacifist and everything like that, more people don't like it. Unfortunately, I would argue more people wanted him to be a fighter and more people wanted him to take over. And that's probably why Superheroes has taken that direction, because people have been asking for it for years and years. And it's the jobs of entertainers to give the people what they want.
And exactly.
People aren't asking for Goten to lead the charge. They want Gohan to lead the charge.
It's true.
So that just makes sense for them to do that. And if you ask for something lots and lots and lots as an entertainer, you get it. So it makes sense.
Yeah. At this point of time, Goten is the only one who hasn't had a single fight against a villain. Trunks, even if you can class Future Trunks as a separate villain, as a separate character, Trunks as a whole person, he has had multiple fights with multiple villains. Gohan, of course, has, and everyone else has. Goten is the only one who hasn't. The only time he has is as Gotenks against Boo, and I guess also against Beerus, if that counts as a fight. But he hasn't won a fight. Like, Goten hasn't won a single fight. So, yeah, even with this new superhero film coming out, with him being a teenager now, I still think they're going to just group Goten and Trunks together. And also, they've already pushed him aside because Pan is the focus of the kids now. So Pan is going to get the new focus, not Goten. He's already, who cares about Goten? So it's like, okay, yeah, sorry Goten. Was it just a bad idea to even have Goten as a character? As soon as he was introduced, he looked exactly like Goku. Like Gohan, when he was introduced, he didn't look like Goku. He was his own character, even as a kid. He didn't have the same hairstyle. And as he grows up throughout the show, he has 25 different hairstyles or whatever. And none of them are the signature Goku hairstyle. But Goten is exactly the same.
Yeah. Even when he's at his most powerful, every time Gohan's at his most powerful, when he goes Ultimate, when he goes Super Saiyan 2, it's the hairstyle that's right behind you, is the straight up with the flick. It's nothing like Goku's in any way, shape, or form. Whereas, Goten is exactly the same.
Is that a bad, is that why people don't like Goten? Because there's nothing that makes him stand out. He wears the exact same clothes as Goku. He looks like a kid Goku, but he doesn't stand out at all. There's nothing unique about him in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I don't know if it's been mentioned in the past or if it's been confirmed as to reason why, but it was probably they just did that to throw back to Dragon Ball. People liked Dragon Ball when he young Goku, and so that's why they made him that way, because people would appreciate it. I don't know if it's probably been confirmed in some point that was why. It wouldn't
Maybe.
surprise me. But I think this is going to be the first time that we disagree on a take. Because I think every time we've agreed,
I think so.
but I don't agree with the take purely because I just don't think it's been his time yet. I think
you really
I agree
think he
with
is gonna have a time?
I think he's. I don't think he's going to have a main focus time, but I don't think he's going to be ignored entirely. I think there's going to be a point. Like you could argue that Vegeta has never had a time because he's never really killed a big bad. Like, did you see what I mean? Because you can't just say you only get your time when you kill a big bad.
Oh,
you see what I mean?
At least
like
Vegeta's been involved in fights and done stuff.
Yeah. So you could say that like he's going to be involved in the future because there's plenty of time for Super to evolve.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's had his time yet.
Yeah.
He's only growing up now. We're only starting to see him in his age now. So I just don't think the arcs that have happened. I don't think they're going to change the story arcs just to accommodate one character or a couple of characters.
No.
I just don't think there's been room for them. I think there's time for them to come soon, and I think that's when it'll happen.
Yeah.
So I disagree with that purely on that. However, I do agree that so far he's not had anything.
I think the worst thing they could have done was made him a clone of Kid Goku, because it's a throwback to original Dragon Ball, potentially, kind of, but also especially modern Dragon Ball fans, 95% of people haven't watched original Dragon Ball and don't care less about it, which is a shame because the original Dragon Ball is incredible, but no one cares about that. And a lot of people did start with Z even at the time it was originally released, and they wouldn't have they wouldn't have realized this was a throwback. They would have just seen mini Goku and thought, oh, okay, this is obviously Goku's son, but it's a clone of Goku. And one thing that GT did really well was make Goten look different, because they show him as a teenager. He has a different hairstyle. He's going to school. He's like the ladies' man, kind of popular kid. And it's like, yeah, finally, he's got his own personal characteristics. He stands out. He looks different. But it's like, in Dragon Ball Z and Super, there is nothing unique about him. And from this poster release showing him as a teenager, he's wearing different clothing. He's got a different hairstyle finally. He's going to stand out, and maybe this is the push that's needed for people to actually start liking Goten, because he's going to show some personality and be different, and I'm excited to see how different he's going to be, because I can imagine Trunks is probably going to be similar to future Trunks, and you're going to start seeing these similarities more now that he's a teenager. But for Goten, we don't know how he's going to be as he grows up. We only know him as this whiny kid. So anything could happen, and his personality will show and get different. But that's to be seen in the film, I guess, when that's released. But I agree with this guy, and this is the first time, like you said, that we are going to differ. He is the Forgotten Son, and no one really cares about Goten, let's be honest. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I don't really care about Goten or Kid Trunks, but I never really have, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully, given time, I will. We'll see. But I don't care about Pan. So, we'll see. Give it time. I might after the film.
Maybe. I guess one thing in Pan's defense is she hasn't been around as long as Goten and Kid Trunks have been, at least. Yeah. And she's been a baby. She hasn't even said anything.
I think at the minute, I'm judging her as GT Pan, and I'm hoping she's very different to that character. I'm hoping they're not just going to copy her. I hope they make her her own entity, because she was very much, she didn't really do anything. Like, she just made problems in GT. I'm hoping she's quite useful in the new film.
Yeah.
I would like that if she was quite strong and independent. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I guess we can probably wrap it up there. We disagree with this take. I think he is the Forgotten Son. You say give him some more time to kind of prove that he's not. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast. I hope everyone watching or listening has enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to check out our social medias down below. And please, please, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And yeah, we will be back next week for another podcast, and we will see you next time.